A local high school valedictorian is today talking about having his microphone cut off during his commencement speech and talking about the behavior of school and district administrators. A nonprofit legal group says the district violated his rights and the law, and that group is now stepping in. Fox 4's Laurie Berger live in our Fort Worth newsroom. All right, what do the attorneys want, Laurie?
Well, they're asking for the Joshua School District to make things right with Remington Reimer and his family. They want the school administrators to admit what they did was wrong and for them to promise free speech for all future valedictorians.
Remington Reimer is soft-spoken.
Usually, I always did follow the rules.
But what he did the day of his high school graduation caused a major controversy. Remington spoke at commencement as class valedictorian.
Well, I was told they wanted a really traditional speech.
Before heading to the Naval Academy on a full-ride scholarship, Remington wanted to talk about constitutional rights and his faith. But he says all that got cut out in the editing process.
And that's where I first had the idea that this doesn't seem right. It's not much of my speech. They're wanting me to give a speech, yet they're almost writing it for me.
When he stepped up to the podium, Remington gave the pre-planned speech, but then added on what he calls the salvation message.
We are fortunate to have God who gave his only son, who died for our sins to overcome our shortcomings.
Was that before or after your mic was cut off?
That was actually before my mic was cut off.
As they had threatened, administrators interrupted Remington's speech. The part that the audience didn't get to hear included him saying, "I will not have my freedom of speech taken away from me, and I urge you all to do the same. Do not let anyone take away your religious or constitutional rights." Remington couldn't tell his mic had been cut at the time because he had earplugs in to keep him from being confused by the echo.
I think the behavior of the school officials is really bizarre, especially when they have a school board policy that tells them exactly what to do.
Hiram Sasser is the director of litigation for the Liberty Institute, a nonprofit that fights for religious freedoms. Sasser's legal team stepped in after hearing Remington's story. He says not only did Joshua ISD violate its own policy, administrators broke federal law, which guarantees free speech for valedictorians.
I think they need to issue a statement exonerating Remington because he's the one who followed the rules here, and I think they need to acknowledge that.
Remington leaves for the Navy in a couple of weeks, but he has a goal for future graduates.
I don't want this to happen to anyone again.
Okay, so when Remington leaves for the Naval Academy, as I said, in a couple of weeks, he has some small goals there. He says he plans to study nuclear engineering and to work on submarines. Steve? All
right, Laurie, I actually think there's another accusation kind of flying around that it's worse than cutting off this kid's mic, if true, and I want to know what you've learned about it. That some of these administrators or somebody at the school or district or higher has reportedly tried to sabotage his appointment to the Naval Academy. What did you hear about that today?
Well, what Remington told me today is that his father got a call from the school principal and that principal reportedly said to his father, you know, I'm going to write a letter and I'm going to write it to the Naval Academy and tell them that you're of poor character. And so then he said he had to consult his attorney, the principal did, and they haven't really heard anything more about that since. We weren't able to confirm that with the district today. In fact, our calls went unanswered with the district today, so we weren't able to firm that up.
All right, Laurie, in our Fort Worth newsroom, thank you.